I just turned 13 in February and I'm 6 feet tall. I'm a man's 11 and a half. I have Marfan syndrome. When I was like 5, 6, 7, it was like a big thing I got bullied for because like I was a good head or two taller than everyone else, and that was like bad apparently. The last couple of years of primary I sort of realised that, you know, I don't really care because it doesn't change anything. My mum was incredible. She's the reason I stopped caring about what everyone had to say. She was very, very protective. I would have spent more time with her. I didn't. Like, I only spent the time I had to spend with her, which was really stupid of me.
Millie, the Halberg Games are coming up, so I thought we would drive up this year, take the other kids. And then what are you in?
I'm Millie Marshall Kirkwood. I'm 13 years old. I live with my dad, Rob, my sister Daisy and my brother Archie.
And then what are you entered in this year?
Swimming.
Discus?
Yep.
Wheelchair racing?
I have Marfan syndrome and it affects the connective tissue in your body, and the connective tissue is like the glue that keeps your body together. In Marfan, the connective tissue is really loose and floppy. Your limbs and everything aren't very strong or put together that well. Dad's really strong. He's just tough. For what has happened, he's done a really good job.
Reading? I guess everyone's busy, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we're out here on the farm and a couple of families are in town. And even though they're only 20 minutes away, you know, it's got a few bits of news.
Yeah, it's nice being able to see everyone in a family gathering. Archie, one day he wants to be a fireman and the next he wants to be a farmer and the next he wants to be a police officer. But, you know, he's 9 and that's just how he's going to be. Daisy, I love Daisy. She's like a little me. The poor thing will be sleeping and I'll just walk in at like 10 at night and stand at her door and have a conversation with her. And I'll wake her up and she'll get really annoyed, but she'll keep talking.
What knee do you tape? Does it hurt when it happens?
Yes.
What did you do to it?
Because I hyperextended it.
Does it look any different than the other one?
With Marfan's, I'm really tall. I've got really long fingers and feet and everything.
Doesn't it hurt when you touch it?
No, it's not like bruised.
It hurts when you walk though.
Yeah, sometimes. Because of my loose connective tissue, I walk sort of on the insides of my feet. And obviously that's not very good because your knees clash together. So I got my feet straightened through 2 surgeries. I had mild scoliosis at one point. My mouth isn't very proportioned. I have a really small jaw. My eyesight's really bad, sort of like looking through 2 wide toilet rolls. She'll come home and she'll go, oh, well,
No.
Miss kept me in today at lunchtime. Oh, and yesterday we were talking.
I just got kicked out of class today because I was laughing.
Don't get kicked out of class.
But I didn't really want to read, so...
That's the problem. I feel like I took on a part of like being Daisy and Archie's mother, which sounds really weird because I'm 13 years old. No one asked me to, no one expected me to, but it's just what I think I need to do to be the older sister. My mum was incredible. I remember the day we were told that she was going to die. I was 11, Daisy was 9, and Archie was 7. She'd made this rule when we were 10, we got to go to a concert, and Taylor Swift was coming to Auckland. And I remember sort of like a week before we were going, she went to hospital.
It was October or November in 2018, Paula started getting some stomach pain. Eventually said, I'll go to the doctor. The first time they said, you're constipated. Went back to ED about 3 days later, and then this time, I think you've got a stomach ulcer. Then went back the third time, and there was some concern that it was due to anxiety. So went back a fourth time, and I said, we're not leaving this time until we get a CT scan. Within half an hour, the doctor came in and said, there's evidence of cancer in your bowel. And within an hour and a half, Paula was in theatre having surgery.
I remember going in and it was all very bleak and high risk, sort of emergency stuff. And now I'd just been told she'd had surgery, and I sort of all clicked that she wasn't coming with me to the first big thing. And I sat there and I was quiet, and I was sort of looking down, and after she'd hugged everyone, she looked up and she said to me, she goes, you can't hold everything in, because when you bottle things up, it just gets so much worse to a point where you burst, and then it's just too much. And so, I cried, and then we all went home.
The colorectal surgeon said it was big surgery and be prepared for a long, tough year ahead. They classified it as stage 4. We spent, every second week chemotherapy. Eventually we kind of ran out of options. Paula was diagnosed in November and she died in July. So 8 months, 49 years old.
I would have spent more time with her. I didn't. I only spent the time I had to spend with her, which was really stupid of me.
Hello, hello. Come on in.
It suits you to a CT, doesn't it?
The great thing about Paula growing up in a household of girls is her 3 sisters have played an important role in Millie's upbringing. They've helped to fill that gap.
Okay. Right. Millie, let's do your hair for dinner. It's got so long.
Yeah, I like it long.
That's pretty. We're wearing a side part now?
I've been wearing a side part for years.
Oh, I thought it was a new thing.
So Millie would have been functioning quite well for the last 18 months, but then just had a time where you could see it really hit her. She would come out wearing Paula's clothes and wearing Paula's jewellery and more photos of Paula on her wall.
Again, Millie?
It's been really tough for her.
Thank you. That's all right.
And Millie wears them and fits them beautifully.
Have a look. See what you think.
And sometimes I actually do a bit of a double take. I see her in the distance and think, gosh, that looks like Paula. And I know Paula would absolutely be over the moon to see Millie wearing her stuff.
Wow. Pretty good.
Paula was a real staunch family member. She would organise things and get the family together. I'd like my kids and I to continue to do that.
Got Mum's dress on, love.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Looks lovely, eh?
Yeah.
I know quite
Pretty too, it's lovely, yes.
You often have got things on I recognise.
Save me buying you more clothes, you can wear Mum's.
I think it's really nice when everybody wears those clothes that Paula used to wear.
Yeah.
Lovely.
She'd love this, wouldn't she?
Oh, yeah. We've been making a chair for Mum. That's what she wanted before she passed away. She wanted it to be placed at her favourite spot, the family river on the farm, so that we have a place to go and be with her.
So the kids have been on the end of the belt sander and oiling it.
It's nice, it's pretty.
Mum didn't do boring.
We were really close, pretty much. Best friends. Because, being the eldest, I spent a lot of time with her.
Grief to me does come in waves, comes in enormous waves. I think of it like, when you suffer that big trauma, then you have an open wound. it starts to heal and it forms a little scab on top. My deep tissue is slowly healing, but occasionally the scab gets ripped off and it bleeds a bit. Then I patch it up and then it comes right for a while. I call this post-traumatic growth, where we've undergone this enormous trauma and grief, but come out the other side much better humans and much better parents and much better people. Paula was always such a great advocate for Millie. She was always looking for ways for Millie to get the best out of her life. I mean, I have that role now, and I absolutely love looking for new experiences and new opportunities for Millie to live her life to the fullest. Go, Millie! Certainly with Marfans, you get a lot of hyperextension of joints. Knees can pop out and ankles can pop over and roll back, and whereas the wheelchair is great. Get the heart rate up, it's relatively safe, it's lots of fun and competitive, which is a good thing. So when she was born, her feet had a little bit of a turn and part of the skull was quite soft outside of the fontanelle, and she just sort of didn't feed very well. And because she was long and thin, we knew something wasn't quite right. We ended up going to the doctors, got a blood sample sent to Sydney, and then within about 6 weeks come back saying she did have Marfan syndrome. That just opened up a whole new world for us. Come on, Millie, go, go, go! One of the biggest risks was cardiovascular concerns. At 9 months old, she had the aortic root the size of a 10-year-old. So Millie underwent a mitral valve annuloplasty. Certainly pretty traumatic. A young toddler with open heart surgery and then watching her recover was pretty traumatic. Since then, her heart's just got stronger and stronger and stronger. It's been remarkable.
I don't know how Dad's dealt with being that, like, single parent. I have no idea. I think he tried probably too hard to be strong. He's done really well at supporting us through everything.
After Paula's diagnosis, you start looking at what the future looks like. And for me, I was thinking, how on earth am I going to raise 3 kids by myself and manage the house, manage the land, manage my job? So you guys got a water bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. You got to change your clothes?
Yes.
Yeah, what have you got?
Yeah, I got.
Jandals?
Yeah, I got jandals.
As a solo parent, you don't get a lot of downtime. So I have this constant battle.
Did you want banana or not? No,
I always think any spare time I have, we should be doing something together. So you do have to take some selfish time, because if your bucket's not filled, then you can't help anyone else. You got your bag too?
Oh, it's in the
So I thought I needed some help around the home. And I'd known people locally had had an au pair. And so I found this amazing young woman, Shanae, who's a local girl. She's been living with us for the last 6 or 8 months. And it's just changed our world. And she loves the kids to bits. And she'll just come over in the mornings and help the kids get ready for school while I go to work. And then is around when the kids get home. Shanae and Millie get on really well. There's 7 or 8 years difference between them, but Millie's so mature, they share lots of interests and go riding together and doing different things together. It's really nice.
Shanae, I wouldn't say like an older sister, because I don't know what it's like to have an older sister, but I've got lots of older cousins that are like her. I go to her if someone had said something that didn't affect me, because like I've had lots of people say like stupid things. My legs are a lot weaker. They're really strong for what I've been through and done and everything, but they're really weak for family biking like activities. And before my heart surgery, I couldn't bike down the driveway. I couldn't even get halfway because I'd run out of breath and my feet would hurt. And, you know, I'd be stood in the middle just in tears because Archie and Daisy had already done 3 laps. In high school, there are lots of kids taller than me, and I guess I look a lot older than I actually am, so I don't get that young, tall kid. It's sort of like, yeah, she could be like a year 13 and she's 6 feet tall, and that's sort of normal. It was quite obvious when I was little because I wore big splints up my feet and I went all the way up my legs and I had casts, and I would always go out of the classroom for doctor's appointments. I would have a teacher aide and I wasn't allowed to go play, or I wasn't allowed to play rugby. I had to be supervised doing this or doing that. Little kids, like 5, 4, they don't care. But like 9, 10, 11, it was like, oh yeah, you're not normal, you're weird, you know. And that went on for a while. I just sort of had to learn to not care. You don't got to change for anyone.
I guess the great thing about Millie going to a country school, well, everyone knows her and has seen her in a wheelchair, seen her on crutches, seen her go away for periods of time. Now that Millie's at high school, not only does she know the people in her year group, and they know her, and they know Millie's medical condition. So if someone says something rude, then she comes back with something equally profound because she's so smart and so quick-witted.
She's not afraid to be herself.
Yeah, she's
very
quite
cool to be around.
She's not afraid to give her opinion, but not in a bad way.
Likes to help. You know? You're like my go-to therapist.
In high school, it's not a big deal being different. I've got good friends and I'm glad I'm not any other way, because I feel like I'd be a completely different person and I don't want that.
Her, these two became friends.
Millie, we just go and pot a few pots up.
Free, can you get the potty mix, please?
I like my Nana and Pop the most. That's where we always used to go stay when Mum and Dad went up to Palmerston for chemo.
Here we go.
So I live in the house my mum lived in when she was little.
Yellow ones would look pretty in that one there.
It just feels like right. Their house, them.
To push them up at the bottom, you do. Like this.
Millie was 5 at her 5th birthday party. Paula told us all then that it was a wonderful birthday for Millie because she turned 5 and she wasn't expected to live past the age of 2. And she'd never, ever, ever told us. She had a wonderful mum. Paula made her feel just like any other child, which I think was a good thing, because Paula was very strong.
So that's another one to go to the gravesite. You have to make big holes. Well, she's going to high school and she's enjoying that.
But she's very confident.
She's
you know,
pretty
before when
confident.
Paula was here, she used to go to act and plays and that. And I went with them one night and Paula said, oh, Mum, you come too and you'll see what Millie does. Arrived to Stratford the first night, didn't know a soul, and she soon got in and she was playing the part of this and playing the part of that. Whereas I would never be able to have done that
No,
at
that's
that
the way
age.
Paula had brought her up though, and Rob,
Yeah, Paula had brought her up to be very confident. And
She's very lucky she's had such a good grounding.
Millie, that's yours.
I like
Really
it.
enjoying high school.
Yeah.
And it's so handy for you, eh? And your e-bike and home.
Yep.
Yeah.
You haven't had any crashes?
No, not recently.
There'll be a few punches next week when the hedge cutter comes.
She used to go to lots of things. Paula got her into playing the piano. Yeah, that's right.
See, Paula maintained that she'd never be able to do contact sport and that sort of thing, so she was really keen on
We
getting...
all reckon she had the fingers to play the piano.
Yeah, she could do other things, and she was always keen on getting her into other things. That
And then
could do.
she got her playing the violin, which I loved her doing that. That was lovely.
have to
Been
be
quite a
there.
big week for you, Millie, eh? Stressful. Stressful.
Pop and I will grab it. You guys just grab those boards there. Put the board under here now, love. We've got an amazing place on the banks of the Makatawa River. We just call it the picnic ground. What was important to Paula was we would go there, you know, weekly or every 2 weeks and have a picnic or light the fire and have some sausages or toast marshmallows. And so that place is significant to the family. So it's important we continue to go there. Right, good to go? Reverse it. People would say to me, oh, your kids are so resilient. Like, we don't see them upset and angry and confused. You see them when they're out amongst others. You know, they're all hurting. And I think in Millie's case, it was just time. I see this amazing, young, beautiful woman growing, being proud of her upbringing, being proud of her mum, being proud of what has come since Paula's death. Just want to, you know, continue to raise 3 great human beings that make some great decisions, and I hope that they are connected to the family land.
The river has been like a big thing for ages. I've got photos of me when I was like 4, sitting there with a rash top and a sun hat with my cousins and swimming, and she loved the river a lot. You could ask sort of any of my family and you go, yeah, Paula loved the river. She was like the one that loved it the most.
It's a great seat, isn't it? It's come up well, and that's exactly what Mum wanted. Wanted it perched here, looking down the river. Marfan syndrome now, the life expectancy is no different to any other person on, so it's got a normal life expectancy as long as there's no other complications. So in Millie's case, she's got a really strong, stable heart now after surgery. She's got no issues with lungs, no other major organ issues. So I would expect her to live a long and full life like the rest of us. I'm super proud of her. She's really grown. She's an amazing woman. She's come a long way.